Today we are going to be doing a review of Thunderstone Quest. I am Tim from Eldritch Ashes Studios.
And I am Taylor, or Tay Cosplay.
And Thunderstone Quest. It is a deck building game of fantasy adventure, if you believe what is on the box. And I mean, it's a deck building game of fantasy adventure. I'll give it that. So the game was designed by Mike Elliott, and it is published by AEG. They do a lot of different things. For this one, I think they did a pretty good job. To be honest, on the box it lists multiple designers and artists as well. We're not going to go into them, but props to you guys. Y'all did a great job with this, and we'll talk about that more throughout the game, throughout the review. Getting into the basics of it, it is a 2 to 4 player game. Absolutely. I think if you tried to add any more into it, which you can do with some games, they'll say 2 to 4 or so. For example, you haven't played it, but Binding of Isaac, you can add more people into it and it just gets crazy, but you can still play it. For this one, you really need to stick with that. 14 and up. The game is not difficult to play.
No, it's not.
I would still probably say 14 and up on it, though, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And with as much going on, I don't think that very many younger players.
Also, like the time span.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The especially if you're just a group of younger players. No, the game says 60 to 90 minutes. If you add in the setup, which again, deck building game, so adding in a good, for this one, probably about 10 minutes to set it up, about 10 minutes to break it down. You're looking at nearly 2 hours in a full game. That will lose people pretty quick if you've got younger players or more casual players, I guess. But to be honest, for the price point on this game, when you look at a normal deck building game, which I'm talking about like Legendary, Clank, Clank and Space, any of the different variations on Legendary, you're ranging around $70 to $90 per game. This one, MSRB is $470. Although you can find it in Amazon for around $55, or maybe around the same price, maybe a little bit cheaper at your friendly local game store. Let's get into the review because I did enjoy this game.
I did.
So for the design, how would you rate it?
A 3.
Okay. Why?
Well, like the art was pretty. I felt like it was fitting for the game.
Some skeletons and stuff on there.
Some skeletons and stuff.
Yeah, no, the art is really nice.
It was fitting for the game.
It sticks with the theme, fantasy adventure, and I give it a 3 as well. Packaging, they did a pretty good job with it, which, most newer games, this game came out in 2018, most newer games have done a really good job with packaging, and they do it as well. One thing I will say, as opposed to some other deck building games, cool thing about it, they automatically have written down on your dividers what they are, and for the starting decks, how to set them up.
Nice.
So that really helps when you're trying to break down the game at the end. You just grab the divider and say, okay, I need this, 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 and this in there.
You don't have to go write it down separately in your spare time.
Or look in the book or anything along those lines. So we agreed on that one. Yeah. Both of us give it a 3 for design. Enjoyability.
Also a 3.
Yeah, no. I give it a 3 as well. We agreed on most things on this one. It's fun. You enjoyed playing it. This is the first game that you've played like that.
Yeah, it was my first deck building game, and I actually really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, it was fairly easy to get through everybody's turns. Pacing was pretty good. Some of the downfalls for this one, as it goes, the added stuff to it, which we can get to in mechanics here in a little bit, but some of the added stuff is more for flavor than anything else. So it does, help you enjoy it if you can get into it, but didn't really add anything to it for me.
Yeah.
For the player interactions, like most deck building games, there is none. The game, any player interaction that you want to have, any conversations or stuff like that, is only going to be what you put into it.
That's one reason I ranked it a 3 is because when I play a board game, I want to interact with the people also playing the board game with me, and with this game you don't really get a bunch of that or as much as I would like.
Right, unless you're with a specific group of people. And if you're with your normal group, then you're going to enjoy it just like you would anything else, but it doesn't draw it out. So for the mechanics, I gave it a 3. It's much like any other deck building game, so much so that I probably would have scored it a little bit less. The one mechanic that I think they did a good job in this one is, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand, when you are building your deck, when you're playing the game, some people that are not used to deck building games, they just want to buy as many things as possible. And being like a veteran Magic player and playing a lot of other deck building games, I know, whereas some people don't, the fewer amount of cards you have in your deck, the better. You want to get really good stuff, but you want to get rid of as many junk cards as you can. This game has that built into it with the level up system. Whenever you level up, your regular adventurer or your other heroes, they go from the basic level to a higher level to the top level, and you remove the lower levels from your deck, like from the game completely. So it has that built into it by itself, which is really cool. It adds, it helps build the pace, and helps for people that are a little bit more novice to deck building games.
Which was an easy thing for me picking up on my first deck building game. It was just easy to get, and that was really fun to do. Like, get rid of this crap card, and now I have this really cool warrior. So that was super fun.
And for you, you gave it a 4.
I did.
But it was fairly easy for you to learn too.
Yeah, no, that's another reason I gave it a 4 is because we sat down 10 minutes into them reading the rules. I was like, all right, I got this, let's go. And I got it within like the first round of actually playing.
And they do a fairly good job of, with the quest book that they have, they do a good job of laying out what cards that you need to put out. Depending on the quest that you want to do. I mean, you can customize it to play however you want to, but with that speeds up the setup and breakdown because you already know what is going to be put out. So yeah, a fairly good job on mechanics. Replayability. So for this one, we both agreed again. Gave it a 3.
Yeah.
So for this one, why did you give it a 3 for replayability?
Well, there was things that could be changed about it, but also I ranked it as high as I did because it was easy for me to learn and hop onto. And if I sat down with a group of friends that are like, I don't know what a deck building game is, I could pull out this game like, all right, it's super easy, let me tell you about it. And also I really enjoyed it, so I would probably buy it for myself just to have sitting around in case I ever had a group over and they were interested in learning or playing this type of game. So
oh yeah, for sure. The game, it fits in well if you're doing other types of games like this. The reason why I rated it so low, and I probably would have gone lower if it weren't for a few things that I'll talk about, is it's standard. It doesn't really do anything to add to the genre. It adds a little bit on the fact that you're moving through the dungeon, which, Clank does the same thing. It adds where you can buy different things and buy in different areas, which some other deck building games do. So nothing really spoke out to me on that one.
See, that's different for me because I've never played this type of game. So that's just one.
But the good things that they did, there's variance. We played when we played the basic learning version of the game. There's an entire quest book that you can go through that gives you different setups, different enemies that you're fighting. And then the other thing that we didn't do there are guilds and side quests that you can add in that really it's like built-in expansions for the game. You can choose to not do them or do them. This particular game, if I remember correctly, there is going to be, or there has been, a new Kickstarter for this one where they're expanding on the original quest in the book. So, not a true expansion to the game, but they're adding stuff in, which, you know, again, that's why I didn't rate it lower than a 3.
A for effort.
Yeah, no, for sure. You built a game. But, yeah, altogether, I rated it a 12. Tay, you gave it
a 13.
So, rounding down, that gives it a total of 12. Listen, 12 out of 20, it's an okay game.
It's a decent score.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is not something that you should look over. You know, if it's interests you, if you like deck building games, give it a try. It's one that you can play for hours on end, especially if you have the right group. And the quality of the cards and everything along those lines, compared with the price point, it's going to last you a while.
That's good.
So, anything else that you would like to say about Thunderstone Quest?
That was it. I really enjoyed it.
Other than we need to play it again?
Yeah, we need to.
Sometime soon.
We need to add the expansions on it.
Yeah, no, I want to do those side quests and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's really interesting. Look into it, see what you think. Be sure to send us a comment down at the bottom. If you've played this game or if you know of something about it that maybe we didn't speak about, let us know. And be sure to like us and follow on Facebook, Twitter, of course here on YouTube. Be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see us play these games, if you want to see us play games similar to this or completely different ones, we are going to be streaming every week on Thursday at twitch.tv/Dicejunkies. Just look up Dicejunkies. We're the only ones. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.